Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, an update from the Ukraine front. The Russians launched a drone attack on Ukraine as they do every day. Pokrovsk is about to collapse, and I will show you two articles on that. The Russians liberate or take over, capture another town in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. That tells me that the Russians have plans to go even further west, probably in order to negotiate those territories later, which is, oh, you'll give us Donetsk and Donetsk, Luhansk, and so on, and we give you back parts of Sumy, parts of Dnipropetrovsk, which we don't actually intend to conquer. Then we have the Ukrainians attacking the Russian refineries, and they claim they destroyed 10 of them, and then diminished Russia's oil production, by 17%. The Ukrainians return the favor to the Russians and they attack Crimea, destroying 2 points, logistical facilities, and they destroy a railway infrastructure. So let's start with the first article. We have some maps ready for you as well. So we're going to talk about Pokrovsk. Ukrainska Pravda today, August 26, 2025. Russian forces attacked Pokrovsk and 2 other fronts 90 times in 24 hours, Ukraine General Staff. So Pokrovsk, where is Pokrovsk? So this is the map of Ukraine. Pokrovsk, I think, is already lost, is right here, the contact line in Donetsk Oblast or People Republic, however you want to refer to it, and is right here. See where here is? This is Pokrovsk, already cut. I mean, it's cut in the north, the supply line. The only thing they have is right here. So obviously this is a lost city, as I think Konstantinovka is as well. And more than that, look how far these guys are going to go around Krematorsk in here, and they are going to go in here. So Pokrovsk, right here, the Russians call it Krasnoarmeysk. A total of 174 combat engagements have been recorded throughout the war zone over the past 24 hours. Russian forces attacked the Pokrovsk, Liman, and Novopavlivka fronts 90 times, and that is in this area, Liman, Novopavlivka, and Pokrovsk, this area, and Donetsk. This is the hottest area. Here you have in Kharkov, Kupiansk is already almost surrounded there, and here. Next, we're going to talk about Pokrovsk, because I think Pokrovsk is already dead, but here they say in the next 10 days we'll decide the battle near Pokrovsk. So he says that fights are tense and the situation is dynamic, the same words they have been using for 3.5 years to report a situation where the front already collapsed, or these guys, I'm talking about the guys in Ukraine, ordered a steady retreat. The situation in Pokrovsk, it's not over yet, but it's going towards that way. They claim that they pushed the Russians back, the Russians pushed back. I think it's over there. But yesterday, the Russians attacked Ukraine with 104 drones, out of which they say 76 were downed. And today, the Russians launched only 59 drones, 47 were destroyed. So the Russians lately, they go to about 60 drones, 50, 60 drones, and because of the future articles I'm going to show you later in this video, the Russians probably will go again to about 500 drones and 30 missiles, as they now do it, let's say, every other week. So let's go to the next one, because the Russians report through Sputnik that they liberated, and that is liberated of took control. They usually say liberated, that means it's under occupation, right? Russian forces take control of Zaporozhskoe in Dnipropetrovsk region. So the Dnipropetrovsk region, let's go and see what they're talking about. So again, this is the map of Ukraine. This is the Dnipropetrovsk region, which is the oblast. You see, this is the oblast Dnipropetrovsk right there. And you have here Zaporozhskoe Oblast, and then you have here Donetsk Oblast. They're talking about a town right here where the Russians are crossing the border into Dnipropetrovsk. And this town is exactly here. I will show you on a different map. But the Russians go in here. You see here, this is Zaporozhye. They go in here in Dnipropetrovsk. Right there, again, Dnipropetrovsk. Right here, Dnipropetrovsk. And I'm assuming they're going to go right here into Kharkiv, Kharkov, and eventually threaten in the north. So where is this? This is located, as I said, exactly here. I'm going to show you a different map. It is right. Let me put my goggles here. All right, and that is, where the hell are you? Right here. Zaporozhskoe. They have different names. This is the little square over there. That you see that little square is that little square. So this is south of that square, which gets me to, so south little square, Zaporozhskoe. Now look at this big success over there. It's like 2 football fields. But hey, they fought hard for it. This is where the Russians occupy. That tells me they have intentions on continuing in Dnipropetrovsk, to liberate Dnipropetrovsk. Next, Ukraine drone strikes hit 10 Russian refineries, wiping out 17% of oil output. Now, if people say, oh my God, look what the Ukrainians did to the Russians and so on. If you would fight Mexico in United States of America, the same thing would be in United States of America. You're going to have refineries hit. You're going to have railway blown up. You're going to have a lot of, let's say, water dams and many other power plants hit by drones. You have so many on such a big territory that you can't defend it. So yes, indeed, if you say, oh my God, these Russians cannot even defend, neither could United States of America if, let's say, is attacked from forces from Mexico. With drones, they cannot. Why? Too many, too wide of a space. But nevertheless, that's successful attacks by the Ukrainians, so-called. Ukraine has ramped up drone strike on Russian oil refineries and export infrastructure, hitting a critical sector of dictator Vladimir Putin's economy. Because that is Putin's economy, is not Russia's, and because Putin is a dictator, elected, but he's the dictator. But Zelensky was not elected in the 1.5 years past his election time, but he's president. The attacks aim to demonstrate Kiev's ability to respond to Moscow's aggression, even as the United States attempts to mediate peace talks. Yeah, give him more weapons and we're gonna die for your interest. And here it is. According to Reuters, estimates attacks on 10 refineries have knocked out at least 17% of Russia's refinery capacity. Wow, great, huh? Do you think so? All right, and then the Russians will strike you back and you're gonna say, the Russians hit civilian targets and critical infrastructure. Well, this war should not have started, but hey, NATO wanted it. Why? Expansion and dominance. That is. And let's go to the Ukrainians attacking the Crimean Peninsula. Here, this comes from Ukrinform. Ukraine, as of F, strike Russian logistic facilities, plural, in Crimea. The Special Operation Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine have struck Russian military logistic facilities in temporarily occupied Crimea. Where is that located? No worries, I will show you. This is the map of Ukraine. Obviously, the Crimean Peninsula is right here by the Black Sea, by the baboons in Romania. I'm going to do like this, by the baboons in Romania, right here. Okay, because all this should be Romania, including the Snake Island right there. Okay, which was given by a Romanian president, traitor. I would call him, he's still alive. He gave it to the Ukrainians just because he could, but actually he couldn't. By the Constitution of Romania, Mr. Emil Constantinescu should have organized a referendum. He couldn't just say, well, we accept, we give them. The Snake Island was given by the Jewess Anna Pauker, Hannah Robinson, who was in charge of Romania in 1950 some, 53, some like 54, gave it to the Ukrainian just like that. Why? Because she was sent by Stalin, by the Georgian Stalin, not by the Russian Stalin. So that's how the Snake Island got to be Ukrainian. Anna Pauker, a foreigner, not a Romanian, a foreigner. She was Jewish, coming from Moscow, parachuted into Romania as the leader. She said, I give this to the Soviet Socialist Republic of Ukraine, just because I can. Anybody says anything? No, fuck off. That's what happened. And then in I can't remember when it was, when Constantinescu was president, 1996, something like this, he said, yes, we give, that's Ukrainian. It's not for you to say that. But he did it nevertheless. Anybody challenged him? No. Now that's treason. For me, at least, in my books. So here's the Crimean Peninsula. They attacked military facilities, right? Military logistic facilities. And the next article, again from Ukrinform, from the 26th of August. Explosions rock Crimea. Railway infrastructure hit. Because that transports military, right? And that is in Zankoi. Right here, that occupied in Zankoi, railway infrastructure was hit, and there was also a strike on the railway on the Urosaina station in the village of Krasnohavtevsk. So again, we go back here and we have Zankoi. I think Zankoi is right here. Zankoi is over here. So nevertheless, on this railway station, that gives the Russians from the Kerch Bridge, they go here and then go here. From here they go with the rail. This is the railway station. Rail, they go zup 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 zup. Kaparapazakamaka. They go to Zankoi, Kipiliki. They make a little curve, jupu, and they go right here and they go into Ukraine right here to fight the Ukrainians. So that's why they destroy. That's why they hit that infrastructure. The Russians will respond, obviously, and that's how some profiteers make money. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Why profiteers? Because they have to finance the reconstruction or support the war. Why would they want the war to stop? They will win anyway. You can reconstruct while you destroy. I destroy you, you reconstruct, you destroy me, I reconstruct, and therefore you got the profiteers. And we have jobs and we shut the hell up. Why? Because it's martial law. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.